thankfully, and if any of the command of his ship is watching this, I cannot express to you enough how much it meant to me that you guys let my husband take leave and let him come with us and be home with us while I had my son. That was the most, it just meant so much to me to have him there, especially after like our first birth being so traumatic, to really just have him, being able to share that with him. I just can't thank you guys enough for kind of just bending the rules a little bit and letting him stay behind. So he ended up staying behind, and then we got the news that I did have ICP and they had to get the baby out right away. So he definitely would have missed it if they hadn't bent the rules for him to stay behind. So super grateful, and my heart goes out to anybody. I know there's so many people who whose husbands are deployed and they can't be there for the birth of their babies. And my heart just breaks for you guys and goes out to you. And you guys are the most strong, amazing people in the entire world, because I couldn't imagine doing it without him.
To Adventures from the Homefront. I'm Kate, this is Olivia, Amanda, and Jessica, and this is my sweet baby boy, and this is part 3 of our pregnancy video. So
bringing it back to the military,
not just crazy stories,
and not peeing,
crazy stories. This is the last one, I promise, and we'll wrap up. But how did you guys cope with your husbands being gone? If your husbands were deployed or if they were underway, like, how did you guys deal with that?
I'm pretty sure it was like a blur. So when we had Levi, it was right before we transferred from Hawaii to Boston. So they came and so he had his like 14 days off, and then the boat got underway for 3 weeks. Well, before the boat got underway, we decided to have like storage and everybody like come and move us, so it wasn't something that I had to worry about while we were like alone. So we were in our house, you know, for like a week with nothing there and a newborn. And then we ended up, we have a little dog as well, so I had to move into a hotel room. I'm living in a hotel with a newborn baby and a dog. And I remember, like, I'm trying to pump because he had the upper and lower tongue tie. He wasn't latching. We tried to move to formula, but then he had acid reflux so bad, and he just screamed and screamed and screamed and screamed. And I just remember sitting on the bed in this hotel room. I hadn't eaten anything because when he would finally sleep, you didn't want to, like, risk waking him by taking him out to, like, go get food. And the hotel I was staying at didn't have like room service or anything. And
you're by yourself,
I'm
Ryan's
by
gone.
myself. He's gone.
DoorDash wasn't a thing?
No. And all of a sudden, like, I'm trying to pump and I'm like not producing enough, and the baby is screaming, and all of a sudden my dog comes up and like scratches my leg like he needs to go outside, and I just like tears are just like rolling down my face because I was just like, I finally like picked up the phone and I called my friend and I was like, if you don't come and get my dog, I'm literally just gonna like drop him off at the ASPCA or something. Like, I'm about to have a nervous breakdown. And then Ryan called me and he was at like a beach bar in Kauai or something, and I was like, don't ever call me again. so it was like, it was just like, I don't know how I got through that time period where we had nothing. I was in a hotel room and Ryan was gone, and Levi was just like, he was so hungry and he was so irritable, and it was just like a mess.
Yeah.
It was just a mess.
But you do it.
I know.
You did it.
Somehow you get through it. You always get through it. So.
How about you, my dear?
Thankfully I had, the help that I needed when my husband was on the underway. But it got to the point where, the underways happened every month. So he would be home for a week and then have to go out again, So he was always home for either 1 or 2 weeks. every month. So at first, you know, I was the same exact way where I didn't know what I was doing, for one. And there were a lot of ugly crying days.
Yeah.
Where I remember, like, there were times where I had to put him in his bassinet and walk away and just kind of have a breakdown, because sometimes that's all you can do.
Yeah.
To just kind of make yourself feel a little bit better.
Yeah.
But then I got into a rhythm where I felt like I had to do it all by myself because he was gone all the time.
Yeah.
So whenever he did come home for that week or two, I kind of took it from there, where I felt bad because I was like, oh no, you need to do this, you need to do that, you know. Oh, he likes things this way, he likes things that way. So I kind of just got into a routine where everything that I was doing was right, and it was kind of like my husband didn't really know, even though he did, because he did have the 2 weeks where he took care of him the entire time. So now we're just kind of trying to get back onto him being the dad, since they moved to Shipyard. And I guess we're just still working on the co-parenting.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's hard. It's hard to
It's
give over
always
control.
changing.
Yeah. So so I guess I want to say two things, but I actually was talking to you girls about this the other day, but before my husband and I got pregnant, we knew we wanted another baby, but he had a deployment coming up, like a 7-month deployment. And we already had our son, and he left for deployment. And I don't know about you girls, but when he left, like, a part of me, I feel like when he's gone, just shuts down. I feel like there's like a light switch that I just shut off when he's gone. And it's like a coping mechanism, I guess.
Yeah.
But the entire time that he was gone, I noticed, because my mom kept asking me, you never send me pictures anymore. Why don't I ever get pictures? Because when my firstborn was little, we took pictures like constantly. I mean, it was annoying how much pictures we posted on our social media of our son and just our life together. And then he left, and I just stopped documenting our life. I just stopped taking pictures of my kids. I felt like, I don't know why I did it. I don't know if it was like I felt guilty, like that I got to be home and he was gone. I don't know if I didn't want to experience anything with him being gone, like fun. I don't know what it was, but that continued even when he came home from deployment and we got pregnant again. Just because he was going on underways. I mean, he's on the same ship as Kate's husband. They were gone probably 2 weeks out of every month, if not more than that. So even though he was home, he wasn't deployed, he was still constantly in and out. And I just felt like I don't want to make memories without you, I guess. And so that was really hard, just going through pregnancy, feeling like I didn't want to document it. And now looking back, I regret it. Like, I wish that I had, but that's just the reality of the situation when he was gone.
Yeah.
And so I feel like if you're going through something similar, that can be totally, totally normal. And like, just don't think that you're the only one who feels that way sometimes. And then two, when we got close to the end of my pregnancy, because when we started trying to get pregnant, it was right when he came home from deployment, which is, I feel like, what a lot of people do. They say, okay, we're gone from deployment, we're not going to be going underway anymore for a while, which was the plan. They were supposed to be going into Shipyard much earlier than they actually did. And so we got pregnant, and I was like, great, you're going to be home, you're not going underway anymore. And that just didn't end up being the case, which can happen in military. I mean, nothing is ever set in stone. So even if their schedule says, they're going to be home for this amount of time, that can always change. And you have to go into any time that you're trying to start a family knowing that it can change at a moment's notice.
Yeah.
And so I never expected that when we were pregnant that I would ever deliver my baby without my husband being there. Yeah, so it became clear that he was probably going to be gone for the birth of our son. And that, I just broke down. I thought, you know, I'm definitely going to have postpartum depression. Like, I can't do this. I can't be by myself. I can't deliver by myself. I don't know who's going to watch our kid. Or like help me if I have to have another C-section and you're gone. Like, because when you have a C-section, that's major abdominal surgery. And if I had to have another one, I was like, I don't know what I would do. Like, I don't know who would watch my kids. I don't know. You can't even drive.
Completely across the country from all of
Well,
your
at the
kids.
time, you could have definitely called me.
Well, yeah. I had just met you, though.
Yeah.
That would have been a little weird.
But like, hey lady, you know, you bought my fireplace. Can you come over and
No, because we had gone to like the zoo and stuff like
Yeah,
that at the time.
that's true.
So
But I mean, thankfully, they didn't want to let him go. But thankfully, and if any of the command of his ship is watching this, I cannot express to you enough how much it meant to me that you guys let my husband take leave and let him come with us and be home with us while I had my son. That was the most, it just meant so much to me to have him there, especially after like our first birth being so traumatic, to really just have him, being able to share that with him. I just can't thank you guys enough for kind of just bending the rules a little bit and letting him stay behind. So he ended up staying behind, and then we got the news that I had, I did have ICP and they had to get the baby out right away, so he definitely would have missed it if they hadn't bent the rules for him to stay behind. So super grateful, and my heart goes out to anybody. I know there's so many people who whose husbands are deployed and they can't be there for the birth of their babies, and my heart just breaks for you guys and goes out to you, and you guys are the most strong, amazing people in the entire world, because I couldn't imagine doing it without him. But I think if you know your husband's gonna be gone, start planning in advance. Get a support system around you, because it's so hard to do it by yourself. And I think the thing that I wish that I would have done earlier is known to reach out to people and to build kind of that support system up throughout my pregnancy. So in case anything happens, you know, you never know what's going to happen, that you know you have a backup plan. And I wish I would have done that, but thank God that it all worked out. But just know that if that is you going through your husband being gone during your pregnancy, possibly gone during the birth and beyond, just know that there are resources out there for you. You can always reach out to, I would start with the ombudsman.
yes,
Your husband's ombudsman for their ship or their command.
yes,
And they would probably be able to give you tons of resources that you can reach out to. Just start there, but don't be afraid to speak up, because you shouldn't have to go through it alone.
yes.
So
And that's the thing that, you know, a lot of people kind of, this kind of, I feel like, gets lost within commands. It's kind of like, you know, people are so scared to say something because you're just like, it feels like this rigid lifestyle, when at the same time, these captains, these, you know, chiefs, these bosses, they're people too.
yeah,
They have
And
kids.
they have kids. A lot of them are married, you know. Don't be afraid to, you know, you see them somewhere, they ask you how things are going. Be honest, because they understand, they get it, you know. Sometimes they don't always want to hear, oh yeah, everything's great, don't worry, don't worry, don't worry. They want that feedback. So, it's not going to hurt your husband's career or your wife's career or anything like that. Don't, you know, feel like that you're just going to be a burden or jeopardize, you know, something for the ship. You know, these people are rallying behind you. So,
and that's always been my experience. I mean, I already said I went through postpartum depression with my first, and I went through postpartum depression with my second, actually.
Yes.
And both times my husband went to his command and just explained everything, and they bent over backwards to try and help us out.
What's
so
the worst
just
that's
never
going to
be afraid.
happen is you're going to get the answer that you already have.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Exactly.
like that's the worst. And
Yeah.
if you're getting something that is a little bit different, like they're like, oh yeah, we'll help you a little.
Also, if your husband is out at sea or overseas, or there is a family emergency, you can contact the Red Cross, and they will do their best to get in contact with your spouse and try and get them sent home.
Yeah.
So that is a big thing, because we were worried about, you know, my husband being there for our birth, because they were going on so many underways. So that if you know that there is a situation, you can contact the Red Cross. Sometimes, you know, they do get home on time, other times they don't. It just all depends.
The best place to start off, though, is your ombudsman.
Absolutely.
The ombudsman has direct phone numbers to the ship when it is in port and when it is out to sea. You know, so they are an epic tool to getting instant information.
Yeah, for sure.
So definitely start with your ombudsman.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
Right, guys. Well, I don't know if there's anything else we could talk about. This is probably going to be about 4 videos long. We won't have to film again for a while.
So thank you guys so much for watching. We hope you got some advice from these lovely girls and their experiences. I know I've learned a lot and had my fair share of tears come out of my eyes. So we just want you to, if you enjoyed this video, please like it, subscribe down below. We try to post videos every Monday and typically do a feature Friday on Fridays. So we go through all of the military topics. If you guys have any suggestions or any comments you want us to do, please leave it down below, as well as hit the bell so you can get notifications and know exactly when we post. Alrighty.
And one more thing.
Oh.
If anybody else is active duty and gone through a pregnancy,
Oh,
please leave
yes.
that comment down below,
Yes.
because that's just not in our wheelhouse. We don't know, but we know there's so many active duty military members who are going through this process too, and we would
Yes.
love to hear your stories.
Yes.
Or even like the opposite, like if you have an active duty member and her husband's like
Yeah.
figuring like if
totally.
you're a husband of an active duty member who's gone through
Yeah.
pregnancy, like that's such a topic that we don't have here. Like
Yes.
we're all married to men in the military. Like there's so many other people out there that have different circumstances and situations than us. So we want to hear from you guys too. Alrighty. Bye guys.